Hi there, Lisa Rana here from Dollhouse Designs, sharing a card featuring the Bountiful Owl stamp set from Unity Stamp Company. It features our favorite owlie in an adorable fall scene. Today's card is all about coloring with Copic markers and a great card layout. I'm starting out with my image pre-stamped on some Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock with some Copic friendly ink. Today I'm using Gina K Amalgam ink in black, but you could use any Copic friendly ink. And I'm going to start coloring the owl with a range of Copic colors. You can see the colors I'm using to the side, and I have them listed in the description of the video as well. So I've already laid down the lightest color on the eyes and the body of the owl, and I'm just adding a bit of shading to the bottom of the body and the bottom of the eyes, and going back and forth between the lightest color and the next darkest shading color just to kind of get a good blend. And then I'm building up with the darkest color as I go along. I'll add just a little bit in and then blend it with the lightest color just to add a bit of depth and shading. And next I'm going to the darker color of the body of the owl and going down a few shades in the E line. And again, just adding a bit of shading in the corners or anything that's behind something that's going to be popped up. So the eyes are kind of forward in the picture, so I'm going to add a little bit of shading behind them so they kind of pop a little bit. Kind of mimics what happens in nature. So I'm just going back and forth here, again just adding a bit of depth, adding some dark colors and then going it back over with the lighter color and using some strokes just to add a bit of texture. So I'm going to use that same technique with the body as well, with using the same colors here. So now I'm going to start coloring the crow, and I started out with a bit too much of that black, but it's the same idea. We're going to do a little bit of black around the top and the bottom, and then I'm using grays to really fill it in. I don't want to use too much of that black, but I do want it to kind of blend with the gray so I get that black color. So I'm just again going back and forth with more of the gray than the black. That way I can really get a variance in color, and then that crow's just not a solid black. Next I moved on to the pumpkins. I laid down a light color of pumpkin or orange, and then just going in with a variance of the other two oranges, again keeping the shading to the tops and the bottoms and anything that might be below something that's popped up, just to give it a bit of depth and shadow. Super easy, actually. I'm not a big colorer. I don't like to spend a lot of time on coloring, so I just take a few colors in the shade range, and that's enough depth for me to create enough interest in the image that I'm looking for. And then last, I'm just coloring in the leaves and the stems in a couple colors of green. The sunflowers I've already colored in yellow and a little bit of an orange. And that's just going to pretty much finish off this card. Have a little bit of pink for that heart, little heart patch that the owlie has, and then a little bit of yellow around to kind of pull the colors from the sunflowers. And then the last thing I'm going to do is kind of create a bit of shadow around the whole image. I'm using N1 here. It's my favorite shadow color just because it's neutral and it can go with any image. And just creating a bit of shadow all the way around, just lining everything. Nothing complicated. Adding a little bit of a line at the bottom, bit of a horizon line. And then I'm taking my 0 blending color and just kind of fading everything out. So now that our image is all colored in with the Copic markers, we're ready to assemble the card. I just have some pattern papers here that are die cut with a stitch edge the background has some writing, and then I'm adding this pumpkin colored polka dot on top at a bit of an angle. And I'm just kind of seeing where I want to put my bow here and the image, and I'm just tying some string around and adding a bow here. This pack of pattern paper I believe is actually discontinued, but you can find any fall themed pattern paper pack to replace any of the colors that I have here, just as long as they match your image. Put some foam adhesive on the back of my panel, and just going to add that to my card. Perfect. And then next we're going to create the banner sentiments. I have a few pieces of pattern paper that I've cut a little bit longer than the sentiment, and just going to create a hole punch at the top so all of them can be tied with that ribbon, and then just trimming off the top there. And I'm going to thread that through my string and then tie it all into a bow. I decided I didn't like the string behind the panel, so I moved that up to the top. And now we're going to try this again. Put the string through all those sentiment and pattern paper banners, and then tying a bow. I did notch out the end of the pattern papers. Just a simple technique of cutting right through the center of the banner and then going from the end to the top of where you cut. Creates a perfect notch every time. So here's our finished card with that adorable fall owl, all colored up with Copic markers, and a sweet banner sentiment. Lots of great fall colors and patterns to finish off this card that's perfect to let someone you know how thankful you are for them this season. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you liked it. Plus, if you have any questions or sweet comment, post below. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.